In part 3 of our videos here on the pond design, we are going to cover the pond cleanup and setting it up in a layout tab and creating survey points so we can send this to a contractor if we had to and they can build it from those survey points. Now we're just going to keep that simple. We're not going to do an entire grid of points like what would be required. However, the theory still applies. You just have to make more survey points. Quick recap, video 1 we did pond sizing, pond location, used some critical thinking, Government Canada rainfall data to size our pond and locate our pond, and then we started working on the pond floor and the pond berm. Video 2 we worked on the high water level, the pond forebay, the pond sump, combining everything into one consolidated surface and working from that. So we have our pond here, and as you can see I have some lines sketched which I'm going to turn into alignments so we can show cross sections of this pond. Now I have ran through the center of the pond with my alignment here or my polyline so far, and try and make it a nice even length. So this is 400 meters long. It's going to make your profiles look better. I have another alignment going through, or polyline for now, going through my sump. And then I have one just going through the middle of the pond up here. Now I'm going to move this one a little bit so it covers the berm on the left hand side as well. And I'm going to pause the video and I'll be right back when these are alignments. Okay, I have my alignments made. I've named them pond section A-A, pond section B-B, and pond section C-C. I'm going to flip over to my drawing tab here. You may have more in your file. I've just cleaned them out so Civil 3D functions faster. And I have some blocks on here denoting the sections. They were existing ones, but I moved the pond a little bit just to line them up. I'm going to place section A in this window here. I'm going to place the profile for B in this window and C in this window. And then over here, we're going to have a list of the points, survey points, when we make them. So I'm going to quickly make one profile with you to show you which options to turn on, which ones to show, which ones not to show. So double click into the viewport. Remember, we're not going to place anything in paper space. We'll work through the viewport into model space since I've already got it set up. Profiles, create from surface. I will select section A-A. I'm going to take complete pond design, so that's our finalized surface. I will take existing ground city of Calgary, and then I want to show my pond high water level as well. So my styles I want to use, the complete pond design, I want to show design. The existing ground, I want existing, and my high water level, I want I'll just use groundwater level. I'll hit draw on profile view, name this pond section A-A. I want, I believe, 5 times vertical for this one, but we can adjust it. We'll have to see here in a second. And then create profile view, and I will plunk it right there. So I got a bit of overlap here. I will have to clean that up and adjust things and fix things, but we now get a representation of our pond. And again, try and line up 0, 0 here. We can't do B or C because they are rotated sideways, but go ahead and make those other 2 profiles. I will be back when those are made. Okay, I have my 3 profiles created, and as you can see, they're all different. Pond C surround the section. Pond section CC is showing the section through the sump. Pond section BB is showing through the center of the pond, and A is going lengthwise. Now I've also controlled the height of these manually just through profile properties. That's easy enough to switch, and I have my line work here. So we will also need to label this. We'll have to put line labels on the design ground here and clean those up. We'll have to label with liters the sump, the high water level, including the elevation, show existing ground on the existing ground. Make sure you label everything, or alternatively put it in the legend. So we'll need three lines, existing, high water level, design, in our legend as well. Now pond break lines matches the design ground here. We're going to turn these into our pond break lines and clean this up so we don't have any overlapping feature lines, any bit of a mess. Now, the surface that is showing will print almost gray. So I'm going to switch my surface properties. I'm going to try a 2.5 and 0.5 surface style. And just to check, contour intervals, yeah, 2.5 and 0.5. I should probably change that name. So this looks a little bit better. And of course, our other feature lines are missing. C feature line, pond floor, and I believe they are on the pond floor, so we should move these two to the pond berm layer. I'm going to use match properties to do that. So match properties, this is the starting one. I want to match it to this one and this one. Now these two should be pond berm now, yep. And I can freeze my pond floor off. When you change layers, Civil 3D may ask you to rebuild your surface. However, in this case it didn't. Now all these lines are going to print different thicknesses. I want them to print the same. So all the feature lines now should be the same color. So we can quickly do that by changing the styles. I think I will make them all, let's pick a color here, green maybe? Yeah, green. For a consistent line weight. So I'm going to select all my feature lines, not my surface. Those ones are already green. I'll select these two. And I'm going to go to properties and change the style to feature line green, comma black. So they all print black with the same line weights. And then we'll clean up some of these feature lines. So we don't need a feature line going through here. We don't need a feature line going through here. It shouldn't mess our surface up, but if it does, we'll deal with that. I'm going to use the command trim features. I want to cut the line out between these two, so I'll select that one, hit enter, click there, click there. So now that was really the only place we would have overlapping feature lines. It's asking to rebuild the pond sump. So I'll rebuild it, which switches you to model space, unfortunately. Let's just rebuild everything to make sure everything has rebuilt. Pond floor, forebay, berm, sump, high water level, and then the complete pond design. And switch back to my drawing tab, and nothing has broken, thankfully. The second thing I want to do is I want to square off these corners if I can, because they cannot build a rounded berm. So we'll try and square them off by removing points or just trying to line them up so they're roughly making a square edge. And again, we may have to tweak some stuff to get this to work, but that's not a big deal. So I'm going to go square the four corners off like this, and I'll be right back. Now that the four corners are squared off, we have to make sure that the outside points are still taking elevations from existing ground. So we're going to right click, elevation editor, elevations from surface, existing ground, and hit OK. And it will just update those few corners. And we may also have to manually switch the triangles. So I'm going to edit the surface style to turn these triangles on. Hit OK. And we notice they're connecting the wrong way, so I'll expand complete pond design, definition, edits, and we'll add some lines in here. So I want to connect those two, and it squares it off properly. Connect those ones. Connect that one. And finally, the last corner here will connect. And then I'll turn triangles back off. So now we have our pond layout done. Of course, we need to label this, so we'll have to put contour labels. We'll have to put slope labels. Again, those are all under surfaces. Add surface labels, just select the ones you want. Again, make it look clean and professional. And finally, we're going to create a point layout plan. So a surveyor, we can send the survey to a contractor and they could build this. Again, this is a really quick and dirty version for this. We would have to do maybe a 20 meter by 20 meter grid of points. So that would take quite a bit of time. We'll just keep it simple. So under the points dropdown, I'm going to create points. I'm going to click the little hide arrow here, and I'm going to set up the default layer. So I don't want to use current. I want to use C-serve. We'll probably change that afterwards if we have to. point creation, I want prompt for elevations, automatic. Prompt for names, automatic. Prompt for descriptions, automatic. If you leave these on manual, you will have to type in every elevation, every name, every description, and it's going to take you quite a bit of time. We can deal with all this after. Default description, we'll just name it pond layout. Default styles, doesn't matter, we'll deal with that after. Check your default name format so it names these properly. Point next counter starting at 1. And point identity, use point number 1. So I'm going to click the drop down and I'm going to create manual points. Now starting in the top left, I'm going to click, it's going to place point number 1. Go down to the bottom, point 2. And basically anywhere we have an endpoint for our feature line, we are going to click and place another point. I'll minimize that a bit. Try and keep these in a logical order. So what I mean, don't click here and then go over to the other side and click over here and then click up here and then click down there. Keep them in a logical order that's easy to follow. We'll go 10. Oh, I put that in the wrong spot, but that's easily moved, and I'll show that to you after. $15, $16. So I'm not going to pause the video. I'll do all this while I'm recording, because there's quite a few points that we need to get that we don't want to miss. Okay, so we have 36 points. Let's go back to that one I misclicked. Simply click on the point number, grab the center grip, bring it to the end point. Now let's just confirm we got all the important spots. Oh, I missed one here. So that should be point 19. So the easiest way to fix this is you might have to create a new point group called pond design points. I'm going to select point 19 to 36, right click renumber, and I want to add 1 to it. See if that works. We want to overwrite, and it looks like they're disappearing from my screen because the point group is getting updated. But as soon as I update it, they didn't even appear. Okay. Let me go investigate why. Okay, I ended up overwriting the points, which actually deleted them, so that didn't work. So let's try that again. If I go renumber, enter an additive factor. I want to add 1. I wonder if I just go next. Let's give that a try. And see if that has done what we wanted it to. Update 38, 39, 40. So it looks like it's done a more than 1. So we went 17 to 37, where this should be 19. So again, I'll have to fix that after. Simply, you can come in here as well, type 18. If we update, that should switch to 18. I can add in point number 19 by changing this to 19 and changing this to 19. So there might have to be a little bit of tweaking. I'm not sure if it's a bug in 2020 right now, but so why did it not create that point? Unique name. Oh, I've already got point number name 19. So let's just do 30. I think that was on 37. There. But for some reason this is displaying the description. We update that. There we go. 18, 19. Now this should be 20 over here. So 38 should become 20. Let's try that renumber, and then renumber, I want a minus 18 this time. So that didn't ask me to overwrite anything. If we update, okay, so that worked that time. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, all the way up to 37. Now finally, let's put this in a table. So under points, add tables. We're gonna leave it 2 millimeter. We'll do 40 stacks per table right now. Oops, sorry, point groups, I want pond design points. Hit OK, drop that down. And again, remember to drop this into model space, not paper space. If you put these tables in paper space, they're just going to give you a headache. So we have point number 1 all the way to 37. We got northing easting, and an elevation of 0, but that is really easily fixable. We'll come back to our plan view, right click, select similar. Elevations from surface. We want complete pond design, hit OK. And all these have updated now. So again, make sure to label your entire profile. Design, existing, high water level, the slopes on these, all 3 sections. Label the contours on your plan view. Put slope arrows on the sides. So if it's a steep slope, it'll be the 3-to-1. 5-to-1 we display here. The 2% slope we would display here. And that is the end of the pond layout and cleanup video.